Hey, this is Mr. Ward. I'm going to talk about linear level 5C Desmos activity. This time I'm going to focus on slide 6, which is the one that I think most people are having more trouble with. So I'll take a little time on that. So in this one, you're going to be trying to capture Blargian ships. And I realize this is about the intercept form mainly. We're going to actually be more using another form for this slide. So in fact, it tells you use the point slope form for your equations because that'll make your life a lot easier. So you're going to want to build polygon traps. I'm not going to be rigid about making it 6 or more points just because things are taking time as we're doing our distance learning stuff. But you're encouraged to make things fancy. Symmetry is kind of neat, so oftentimes that'll look good. But you're going to want to build a trap around the Blargian ship, and then you're going to link that trap, and I'll go to the slide so you can see it. So here's a Blargian ship. You want to build a trap around it, and then you want to tether that trap to the Earth so that you can reel that Blargian ship in, cut it up, and steal the Blargian's technology and get some intelligence for defense of the Earth. So I'm going to show you how I do this. So I know that there's this Death Star here at 4130, and I plotted points around it, and then I used point slope form equations and domain restrictions to simply link those. I'm going to that one's sort of one that's already started. I'm going to go to one that I haven't done yet. So let's actually go over here to this one here. This Blargian ship is at 1921. So what I need to start off by doing is I need to plot some points that are around 1921. All right, very important point. Blargians can break through horizontal and vertical lines. So avoid having horizontal lines, avoid having vertical lines. For some reason, they can't get around the diagonal ones or slanted lines. So if this is a negative 1921, we could put another point at negative 1923 right above it. And we could also put another one below it at negative 19, comma 19. Okay. And now we need to put some points maybe out here. Maybe put a point here. I'll put one, if that's negative 19, then here is going to be negative 20, negative 21, negative 22. And I'll make that one at negative 22, 21. Negative 22, 21. Then I'll make another one. We'll move this way. Instead of negative 19, it'll be 18, 17, 16. We'll put a negative 16, 22, 21. We'll make it like that. All right. But it's okay if it's not symmetrical. It could have been 22, and that would work as well. But if you make it symmetrical, actually, your calculations will be a little easier. So I just need to create a point slope form line from here to here. Now, you might notice very quickly that the slope here is up to over 3 on the graph. So we can very quickly create an equation. It's going to be y minus the y1 equals 2 over 3 times x minus x1. That's the point slope form. And then we just need to pick which point we're going to use. If I pick this one, negative 1923, 23 is the y1, and negative 19 is the x1. And there I've got my shot. If you don't like the way this looks, since it's subtracting a negative, you could make that plus, and that still works. But if it's useful for you to remember, you can do it like that. And then we just make it fancy, okay? And I'm going to be going from this point here, which was at roughly, it's negative 22, and that's negative 19. So I could use the x values. Negative 22 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to negative 19. And I've just made it fancy. And then we can target this one. Now, it's very convenient that I picked this point for hitting this one because I can use the exact same equation. And I just need to change the slope and I need to change the interval, the inequality of my x's. So I'm going to copy pasta that and I'll go over here. My slope is no longer 2/3 up 2/3. Now it's down 2/3, which means my slope is negative 2/3. Okay. And I just used this negative 1923 point again. I just need to change the interval of my inequality. So I know that this point here is at negative 16. So my high end is no longer, make that a little easier to see. My high point is no longer negative 19. My low point is negative 19 because that's at negative 1923. So I'm going to change that to negative 19. I'll change that to negative 16. Oops, let me actually write 16, negative 16. Great, and I've got that one. And now I just need to connect this one. Oh, look, that slope is up 2/3. This slope is down 2/3. So I'll be using 2/3 and negative 2/3 again as slopes. So I am going to, actually, here's what I'll do. Since I know one of my slopes is going to be 2/3, I'm just going to use that 2/3. And I know that my x value is still negative. I'm going to use this point here and here and here. My x value here is negative 19. So I just need to change the y value. Okay, and I need to change my inequality just into, actually, I have a choice. I could just change the slope. If I change the slope, it works. But I'm going to show you how we would change it. And the reason it works is this is a line going through here. My inequality is from negative 22 to 19, which is great. And my slope is negative 2/3, which works between those 2 points. So if I didn't notice that, I could just do this. I could go over here and say, okay, I'm trying to go from negative 19 to negative 16 because those are the x values of these 2 points, and that's the low end and the high end. I could have easily used the y values as well. Okay, now let's go to this one here, and we're using this same point. So this is negative 1919, so I just need to change this to 19, and I need to fix my inequality, so it is now negative 22, and that's negative 19, so that it goes through those 2 points. It looks like I accidentally moved a line, so hang on. Oh, and you get to see me sorting out a mistake. So I just changed this line accidentally, so I'm going to change it back. So this should now be 23, and my inequality should now go from negative 19 to negative 16, and it still works. And now the only thing I have left to do is to link this up with the Earth by picking any one of the points on here. I'll just pick that one, negative 1621, and the Earth. And since it's just going to the Earth, I can use the old level 2 y equals kx equation. So y equals kx, and k is simply the y value, sorry about that, the y value over the x value. So the y value was 21 and the x value was negative 16. So 21 over negative 16 is simply negative 21 over 16. And there I've linked it up, and I just need to make it fancy. And I can either go from 0 to 21 or negative 16 to 21. Depends on whether I'm dealing with x or y. So if I use x, I'm going to go from negative 16 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 0. And if I wanted to use y, I would say 0 is less than or equal to y is less than or equal to 21, because those are the ends of, that's the y value, 0, and the y value here is 21. so 0 to 21. Or if I used x, the negative 16 to the x value of 0 here. And that's all you got to do. Capture a couple of the Blargian ships, and then you'll have access to more fancy technology. Hope that